You are listening to Sharing Abundance, an In Time Tech podcast. We love the support and thank you for listening. Enjoy!
Hello listeners, welcome to a new episode of ITT podcast Sharing Abundance. I hope you have listened to the previous episodes. If not, please do listen to them and subscribe to our channel. As our guest today, we have with us a person who speaks less, but whenever he does, he is modest and adds a great value to the conversation. He is a great leader and one of the co-founders of In Time Tech. He is also a coach to the lateral hires at In Time Tech through a program called Learn and Integrate. Today we have with us Mr. Sandeep Jain, Managing Director and co-founder of In Time Tech. Welcome Sandeep.
Thank you Ritvik and Arshita for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here with you guys today.
Thank you.
And also I'd like to thank you from both of us for supporting us to create this podcast.
It's all yours in your thought, and then we definitely came together. We'll keep doing like this.
Giving us your time is very precious for us. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
So, I would like to understand from you your day-to-day responsibilities as a managing director.
Multiple responsibilities which I take on right now. Mostly I take care of all the non-technical departments in the company. So I'm responsible for finance, HR, IT, operations and these departments. But beyond that, the most important thing which comes for me is people management and people growth. That's the focus. So these are the things which I do. Multiple responsibilities at In Time Tech right now.
And how do they differ from one another in day-to-day basis, and how do they merge into one?
Yeah. So as a company, everything, see nowadays, by the one thing which I missed in last answer, that we are looking for expansion in multiple geographies, and I'm looking forward to grow our company in different geographies like Australia or Europe somewhere. So we are looking at consistently how do we grow in those markets. Now definitely each responsibility differ. As you can see now, sales is different, and then this all supportive functions are different, and then the people growth is different. As a human being, we can do one thing at a time. So I divide my work in different places. So at a time I do one thing. If I'm leading, like Ritvik shared, that for lateral hires I lead a program called Learn and Integrate. It's all about people management, people growth. When I'm there, I just focus over there. When I'm working on finance, I just focus on finance. So everything is divided in the day, and then I take care of all of those things. Now, how do they merge together in one? If you look, In Time Tech is a one platform, and these all are things which need to be taken care, including all the project delivery we do. This is what makes In Time Tech, and that's how we can create abundance for everyone around. Whether it's a support staff, so that people in the company get what they need to get at a given moment. Sales side, how do we expand our business in multiple different places? Growing people is part of this. So overall, in the umbrella, this all are like pies of the same circle. That's what I see, and that's what In Time Tech is.
Absolutely.
So one thing I'm really curious to know about from you is that when we talk to you, talk about people first approach, and then you talk a lot about trusting people. So when we hear business, or when we hear to the word business, so the first thing that comes to the mind is profit. The money side comes up first. And then you are doing this business and you're always talking about people. So how did that approach is working out for you, and like how is taking care of people helping you to get that profit?
By the way, when we think about people, I don't think we ever thought that we'll get something in return, but that automatically happens. If you really see last 13 years of journey of the company, we are extremely profitable company. Year on year we are growing. We are part of Inc. 5000. Now, when we go to customer, we have a commitment that ROI you don't pay. If you don't see value, you don't need to pay. That's where we make sure that people first, customer first. When I talk to our employees, same thing. When we talk to our vendors, same thing. I don't see any other way where people should not be first. And then in return, by design got so and so much that we could not even think of. So that's what I see. There's a people, there's a process, and there's a profit always. People always come first, and then process, and profit is like byproduct. Process is a result. Without profit, business doesn't exist. That's true. But that's like always a byproduct. When you take care of people and you take care of process, profit will happen. That's what we see. If we focus too much on profit, maybe one of them may get compromised in that process. So we may make still profit, but it will never be holistic picture. It will be kind of broken picture. You take care of people, they take care of process, it takes care of profit. That's the sequence is. That's what I have seen in my life. In fact, I can say now looking back, when we started, did not know. This clarity of thought may not be there, but when we took care of people, this is how it automatically evolved like this.
So, did this approach held you back sometime? Any setback for you due to this approach?
I don't think so. I have not seen.
Oh, that's great.
Definitely, there are some hard decisions we need to take when it comes to business, looking people in mind. In commercial term, it can be a short-term setback, but when you look at last 13 years, I don't see any setback in this.
Great.
So moving forward, I would like to ask you a question that since you are not having a background where you were having your own business and there was a business, so how did you have or created that mindset of that I would be managing things and I would be doing such and such, creating some policies that it would be like taking care of people as well as be profitable as well as be open.
Through my experiences, I've done multiple businesses since beginning. And then when we started this company, by design, the other four founders like Jeet, when I and Jeet were talking, and Jeet said, I'll take care of all the technical things because he comes from that background. And then I was coming from business side, so I took care of other domains, right? So that came by naturally at that moment. Now people, when I look back since beginning, I wanted to close with people. And that's like, it's very hard to define at that young age what inspired, but I always wanted that people around me should be fulfilled. Now, how do we achieve that? It definitely took years for me to learn that. It's not a one-day effort. It takes time. But focus was always there. That how do we make sure that people around us are empowered and inspired? And that's where the journey has been. Like it's very hard to define in one sentence how it became. But over a period, that learning and practice, two things which I have seen. See, there's a board behind where I said listen, learn and lead. So the focus was always there that people should be empowered. Now for that, you need to listen. What is needed? What do people need? Then learning, how do we deliver that? And then only you can lead. You cannot lead from the top. Designation doesn't provide any leadership capabilities. You need to really listen what is needed and learning how to deliver that and automatically lead after that. That's how the cycle is. So I consistently was very, very open to listen and to learn. That helped me to really lead few things right now.
So you were sharing about multiple businesses that you have done before. So how is managing an IT business different from managing those businesses that you have done before? And how did that experience help you in this journey?
So definitely, I'm also an engineer, but I learned finance from other businesses, and that immensely helped me, particularly leading finance and operations, because these were not that I did in college. So that's where it helped a lot. Another thing is, I'm fortunate enough that we have a team here. Like we have a whole leadership team, and then this second level of team who takes care of all the stuff. So it did not differentiate much. And as we grew, as the company grew, I also learned how to lead the bigger efforts. Now, as the company has become 1,000 people company, we are creating a lot more processes now. It cannot be done in ad hoc way, which we may have done 10 years ago. So now we are creating a lot of processes so that system runs on its own. So it's just like flying the plane and designing the plane together. That's what is happening all the time. You're designing the plane while flying the plane also. We are learning as we are growing all the time, and we are doing also. So that's all goes hand in hand. So earlier businesses helped me particularly to take care of operations, finance, and other department which I'm looking at right now.
And you don't come from a family of business. Like your father was an engineer, right? And you two were into technical stuff earlier. So how did you switch to business? Like what was your thought process back then after finishing the college that you wanted to go for a business right then?
There was a desire to go in business, But honestly, if you ask me, I never went to corporate. Maybe I was naive at that time to go directly in business without having any experience. And that really took time. And initially struggle were high because there was no one in my family who have done business. And I also did not gain any experience in the corporate world. So it took its own time for me to learn in this one and then come up to speed. There was a desire, that's why I went at that moment. So there was no plan. If somebody asked, oh, what plan did you have? I did not have any plan. I just followed what my gut says at that time.
So I'm wondering to ask you this question that I hear many people say that if plan A doesn't work, we have plan B. So does this really work? Like we try to create as many subplans as we can to become successful or just achieve what we want. But does it create an impact on the core plan we have, or does these subplans work?
So if we talk about, and let's take entrepreneurship as an example here.
Yeah.
So personally, looking at my own experience, particularly for young people, what I suggest, you spend few years in industry to understand how the industry works, make some connections, learn how the industry works, and then you go to entrepreneurship. Another thing, it will help and save as much money which can help you to survive for a year or two, at least 2 years. That's what I say. In 2 years, if you don't take anything out of the business, there are higher chances for you to be successful. More than 90% businesses not able to grow or die, major reason is financial struggles. So that's where I suggest to go through this process. In my case, there was support from the family. My father supported me initially and that helped in finance. So I don't suggest anyone to go directly do business without having enough backup. So have that backup. Now, if you talk about plan B, I don't think that works. Plan B is nothing but like waiting for plan A to fail. That's what I see.
Yeah.
So that's what plan B is. But definitely safeguard yourself, at least financially, so that your family don't suffer.
Yeah.
And couple of years, if you're not able to grow in the entrepreneurial journey, then you can always go back. So then that's the only plan. Otherwise, just give 100%. I don't think we ever created plan B. I don't see in my life.
Because we hear so many people saying that if this is the plan A, if it doesn't work, then we'll go for plan B. If plan B also doesn't work, we'll go for plan C.
But ask people who have done something significantly what plan B and C they had. It's very hard because once you are passionate about doing something, there are hardly plans B and C. Maybe plan A doesn't work. After that, you can think about other things. What should I do now? But it's very hard. Like I don't think that's how life works. It's not. Life doesn't work on PowerPoint slides. Life works based on your gut, your passion, your hard work, your discipline, and your commitment. That's what I see. So it's very different than we read in the books and then what we actually practice.
Exactly. And nowadays, as we can see, the domains are expanding so much that people find a little passion for every domain that they enter. Like whether be entrepreneurship or whether be technical or whether be communication, mass comm. So that's why I was asking this question that what is this? Like, because people find slight interest and they call it passion, and then that's why they say if the passion for mass comm is planning, then and if it fails, if we get bored at some point of time, then we'll follow the passion, like we'll follow the plan B, that is engineering, and if that fails too, then we'll follow something else. That's how.
See, but I see if plan of life, or we can say purpose of life, not plan, purpose. Life cannot be planned, but purpose of life, if it is too objective, there's higher chances to fall back to plan B, C, D, whatever you have. There has to be solid purpose of life. I can tell you about this company also. When Jeet called me in 2008, we discussed about iron rods, we discussed about assembling electric bikes, we also discussed about garment industry, and eventually finalized on IT. What we do was never that important. Why we do? What's the purpose? Purpose was that how do we create a bigger impact on the people around? Now, whatever we do, see, the passion was to make a difference for the people around, starting from our family to our friends to this office and people who join here and expand to like customers and vendors everywhere. That was the plan. Now, we could have done with any other business also, right? Yeah. So that's what I see. See, that plan is, the purpose of life is such that it can be fulfilled through any means. The purpose is to follow your passion in very specific way, like mass comm. Now, after 1 year, if you don't like mass, why mass comm? Why you want to go in mass comm? What do you want to create? Like suppose somebody creates like 10 minutes this delivery, like grocery or this medicine delivery. Now their purpose, people's lives should be comfortable. They get what they need in 10 minutes. So that emergency situation can be handled. So there is a purpose. People's life should become. At the end of the day, it has to be around people.
Exactly.
And those are the products who really become successful in the market. You take any product, Uber, you take this cab service. Who thought 15 years ago that you on your fingerprints you can call a cab, and which will be cost effective? Making people's life easy. That's where those products are successful. Now somebody thinks, I have a passion in transportation, but there's no why transportation. There must be some other purpose. The purpose is end of the day to serve people, right? So that's what I say. Until this purpose is clear, I don't recommend anyone to go in product business or entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, until the why part is answered.
And if why is only to make profit, then still you can go. But you know that my why is to make profits here. Then let's be clear about it.
So, when did you get your clarity about like you want to make a difference about people?
It's an ongoing thing, Ritvik, honestly. If you ask me, in fact, I'm learning today also so many things about myself, which this is an ongoing journey. Life is like there's endless learning around this area. When I look back, I was always close to people, starting from school days, and I remember that. But it's very hard to define. When did you get this clarity? Because this is ongoing. I still feel there's so many things to do in this area. So learning is going on, exploration is going on. So more I know myself, more I get present. This is the thing which really makes me fulfilled. So maybe you can say that it was there, but I'm discovering day by day basis. That's what I can say this.
That's great.
Apart from managing, what do you like to do? Like a hobby of?
So mostly, I love to write, but I written some articles, but don't spend that much time on writing. Other than that, whenever I get time, just spend time with family, looking at what kids are doing. Mostly spending time at home. Other than that, there's no such hobbies. Like mostly, I just come to office, I spend time with people, some dinner, some lunches, just. Going to community also, that's another thing which I'm doing. I'm related to some of the communities and then participating in those events. So mostly this is the thing which I do when I'm not in office.
I was asking, there is one book, The Magic of Thinking Big, and then there is a chapter about excuses.
So there are health excusitis and they talk about age excusitis.
So in your journey, did you identify any excusitis of yours, like when you were starting this business, and how did you overcome that?
So no, we did not. So I knew, honestly, I believed, I and Jeet always wanted to start something together. When Jeet came, I always believed that we can do something together, which can be big enough. Always believed that. So no excuse came. In fact, day-to-day basis, mind will give excuse. Mind gives excuses, by the way. I'm not saying it doesn't. Like, I do work out in the morning, and at times mind says, okay, sleep more. But I tell my mind, no, I'm going to do workout, that's my commitment. So discipline is something which keeps you consistent, and then these things will keep coming at times from back of your mind. The only thing is that not listening to that, because it's not consistent with your commitment in life, and then doing what is your commitment in life will definitely produce the desired results, let you achieve your dreams, and definitely you can do what you want to do. So that's what I see. So at that moment, nothing came in my mind. That's what I can say.
Okay, that's great. So when we were talking about your life journey, asking you multiple questions, what we were looking for was getting insights into how you took your life decisions. And through that, we wanted to learn how we can take right decisions in life. So, what are your views upon that?
Yeah, that's the thing. What I see, life is not a 5-point agenda where we can give the right answers. As I said earlier, it's not a PowerPoint slide also. Life has to be lived as it comes. The only thing we have in life is choices. Every time when we are in a particular situation, we have multiple choices in front of us. Now, the choice that we will make at that moment, it depends how close it is to our commitment in life. First of all, we need to be very clear what is our commitment towards life. What do we want to accomplish? What's our why? What's our purpose of life? Once we are clear, we will be very clear to choose what choice we should take at this moment. Now, once we take the choice, after that, how that choice or that decision, we can say, will come true depends on how much effort we are putting on that. If you give your life to your choices, more often than not, it will always come true. That's what I have seen. Hardly, because the challenge happens when people just do cost benefit analysis after taking decision. Once you take a decision, just give your life and run with it. Give your 100% until really results come out. And then if results are consistent, you keep doing the same thing. If not, then learn and refine. But don't stop believing in yourself. That's how life is. So there are no easy answers. You learn as you go. Always. You'll always learn, but create clarity for your why. That's the only thing. Other than that, just believe yourself. Believe your gut feeling. I have written an article also on decision making. Same thing I'm talking over there also with my life experiences.
That's great. So, it was great talking to you, Sandeep. And we'll look forward to meet you some other time as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your time with us and your words as well.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Ritvik and Ashita, for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Sharing Abundance. Be sure to visit our website and check out our other episodes at intimetech.com. That is INTIMETEC.com. Thanks again for listening.